Hey everyone, Proverbs 17. Better a dry crust with peace and quiet than a house full of feasting with strife. A prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and will share the inheritance as one of the family. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart. A wicked person listens to... Hold on a second. We'll see if we can bracket this one off. That's a good one. A wicked person listens to deceitful lips. A liar pays attention to a destructive tongue. Whoever mocks the poor shows contempt for their maker. Whoever gloats over disaster will not go unpunished. Children's children are a crown to the aged, and parents are the pride of their children. Eloquent lips are unsuited to a godless fool, but much worse lying lips to a ruler. A bribe is seen as a charm by the one who gives it. They think success will come at every turn. Whoever would foster love covers an offense, but whoever repeats the matter separates close friends. Another good. A rebuke impresses a discerning person more than 100 lashes a fool. Evildoers foster rebellion against God. The messenger of death will be sent against them. Better to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than a fool bent on folly. Evil will never leave the house of one who pays back evil for good. Starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam, so drop the matter before a dispute breaks out. Acquitting the guilty and condemning the innocent, the Lord detests them both. Why should fools have money in hand to buy wisdom when they are not able to understand it? A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. One who has no sense shakes hands in pledge and puts up security for a neighbor. Whoever loves a quarrel loves sin. Whoever builds a high gate invites destruction. One whose heart is corrupt does not prosper. One whose tongue is perverse falls into trouble. To have a fool for a child brings grief. There is no joy for the parent of a godless fool. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. The wicked accept bribes in secret to pervert the course of justice. A discerning person keeps wisdom in view, but a fool's eyes wander to the end of the earth. A foolish son brings grief to his father and bitterness to the mother who bore him. If imposing a fine on the innocent is not good, surely to flog honest officials is not right. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and will share an inheritance as one with the family. I think that one can kind of tie back to New Testament a little bit. Because originally, right, kind of in like Jewish tradition and things like that, right? And Jesus was a Jew, right? He kept all the feasts. He ate clean. He observed all their stuff, right? He was the fulfillment of Jewish prophecy. And celebrating that fulfillment is kind of what gave birth to Christianity, right? But if you look at it, the history of Israel, right? The sons of Abraham, the sons of Isaac, and the sons of Jacob that went on to become the nation state of Israel. They were told kind of time and time again, hey, this is going to be your Messiah, but his gift's going to be for everybody, right? Even if they're not by blood Jewish or Israelite. Because I don't even think there was technically a Jew until the kingdom of Israel split into the kingdom of Judah, and I think Benjamin, and the rest of the tribes that remain the kingdom of Israel, right? But the Lord talks about how even though he was their Messiah, fulfilling their prophecies and things of that nature, right? His gift was for the whole world. And there's places in the New Testament too, how it talks about how how when you accept Christ into your life, you get adopted into the Israelite family, right? So I think it's pretty cool that here in Proverbs 17, it says a prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and will share the inheritance as one of the family, right? Even if you ain't born Jew or you ain't born an Israelite or anything like that, right? You can be adopted into it through the blood of Christ. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart, right? Man, there are so many kind of modern equivalents to that saying, you know, and other biblical spots too, or other spots, or other spots in the Bible too. I talk about the Lord knowing the heart and the Lord testing the heart and everything like that. I guess kind of making sure that you're not a fair weather friend of the Lord, but an actual disciple of him, right? Put you through tests and put you under pressure to see what comes out on the other side and what's going to hold up. And if everything around you crumbles, but you still got Jesus, did you really lose everything? Let's see. Eloquent lips are unsuited to a godless fool. How much worse lying lips to a ruler? So it's bad enough for a godless fool, right? To try to come off as something they're not in a better way, right? Extremely educated or whatever, and kind of lead people astray by making themselves sound more important than they actually are. But what's even worse than that is whenever there's someone in a position of authority that's just a liar, right? Just ain't right. Let's see what else we got here. Why should fools have money in hand to buy wisdom when they are not able to understand it? I think kind of a way of looking at that one is like, I mean, you can go on Amazon these days and you can buy like any kind of book on like theoretical physics or like rocket science or how to do a surgery or whatever it is, right? And you can buy it and you can read it, but if you don't understand it and you have no way to apply it, then it doesn't do you any good. I think that's what it's kind of talking about with wisdom right here, right? Some folks are in a position where they think that they can just buy wisdom, and you can't, right? Closest thing to that would be able to compensate somebody for their time by paying them money, right? Basically them being an employee of you, but that doesn't give you wisdom, right? A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for a time of adversity. I think everybody's heard that one a little bit. If you're a girl, hey, replace it with sister, right? You cannot go through this alone, and you need people who will be with you kind of through thick and thin, right? And that does not mean that you don't butt heads with them, right? It doesn't mean that you never call them out on their BS or allow yourself to be called out by them, right? You can hold each other accountable, I think is what it is, and help each other out whenever you need to. One who has no sense shakes hands in pledge and puts up security for a neighbor. That one, I think what that one's kind of trying to talk about some is like, I guess the modern equivalent would be like co-signing a loan or something like that, right? And if you don't just absolutely 100% and explicitly trust that person, then if they start defaulting on everything on it, right, and you could be the one who's held accountable for it because you've got your name on the paperwork too. So don't just willy-nilly attach yourself to somebody's debt. Now the Bible does say that you need to give generously, right, and things of that nature. So give generously, right? But don't slap your name down on somebody else's debt unless you are just absolutely that 100% bang up sure that they'll kind of keep you out of it, right? And if they're going to do the right thing. Let's see. Excuse me, y'all. I'm running off of like 4 hours of sleep. Ran a 5K this morning and did a bunch of yard work, so I'm dragging. Cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones, right? Man, there are so many passages that talk about the joy of the Lord and everything like that, right? And I'll be honest, that's something that potentially struggle with on occasion, right? Not necessarily being happy, but being joyful, right? Which are two different things. But I've seen that firsthand. Literally had a patient in the med room one time, blood pressure was going kind of crazy, put him in different recovery positions and a couple other different things, and was struggling to be able to get it down, right? A bunch of breathing techniques and stuff, and it wasn't anything that was particularly terrible, but it wasn't great. And then a buddy of mine cracked a joke while we were all in the med room, made the patient belly laugh, and then after that they were fine. Like, next blood pressure that we took, everything was like picture perfect. Like, I've literally seen that one happen firsthand, right? A discerning person keeps wisdom in view, but a fool's eyes wander to the end of the earth. A discerning person, you'll know what to focus on and how much to focus on it, I think. But a fool's eyes wander the end of the earth, right? It's, oh, well, this isn't necessarily the wisest thing, but it's not that far off of it, so I'm going to pursue this thing. And then, oh, well, since I'm already here, this other thing's just barely out of reach, so I'm going to take one more step to it. And then, oh, well, now that I've got this, but I'm not satisfied the way that I thought I was going to be, so if I could just reach the next step, right? Chase the next high, or next night drinking, or whatever it is, right? The next thing you know, you've wandered off the end of the earth, right? And you ain't walking next to wisdom anymore. Having your safeguards in place and knowing what to focus on, how to focus on it, and when to focus on it, and by how much, I think goes a long way. And yeah, sorry, this one probably isn't the most polished or the nicest one, but like I said, we're running off of like 4 broken hours of sleep and physical labor all day. So, hope y'all got something out of it. Take it easy.